So I was watching Howl's Moving Castle last night, and I think it's what you see in media, the spirit of devils working through people, and not to put down my good friend Miyazaki, but I think what happens is that the media that makes it to anything that gets published is fueled by the demonic realm. And what you can see, and we see it in other media, is the glorification and normalization of beasts and their appetite for human flesh and blood, right? So there's a scene where she comes in, and the female heroine in Howl's Moving Castle, great show, by the way, and it's somebody warns her that he's a beast or a monster or something like that, and then at one point you see her go in to his bedroom, and you see that it's like this giant, pretty scary looking bird beast with kind of and then you see the face. It's like looks like a monster with pretty nasty looking teeth, and you see that in a couple of scenes. Like really just one other scene you see it when he's in his beast mode attacking the fighter jets of an enemy nation, and but what you see is that so it's really actually a very close analogy, that movie, to the shape-shifting beast, okay? And there's probably and that was the bird type, and they're probably all, I would guess, among us. You just don't hear much about it. You don't hear much press about it because Satan and his fellow fallen angels are given to control the nations, and individuals may see it, but any cameras or anything, anybody that will have a wider knowledge, more leaks out now, but they keep a pretty close clamp on it, so that's how it remains hidden. But you got these, I think what they are they were former angels turned into beasts, and their descendants. And so I would guess to argue now. What's interesting is I actually the title for my last movie, almost everyone fooled by the serpent. It came to me kind of like at the last second to do the rendition of Elon as a reptile, and then I noticed that my phone got cut off. Now, of course, that could just be pure coincidence, but it was kind of interesting, and because it's been out for longer than I've seen it. Occasionally it'll go out, but I think that the gather that I get is that somebody's a little pissed about it. That's all right. But I wonder if it was like a tune-in to the fact that I think all of these people in higher positions might be these shape-shifting beasts, and people that make it as big stars. Keanu Reeves, of course, Harrison Ford, who have pictures of them shape-shifting, and or a very strong-looking demonic distortion. But also I want to say again the kind of interesting phenomena about shape-shifting, which is that I think that one thing that may actually be pretty normal is that what happens is if a human has enough percentage of demonic indwelling, they may shapeshift pretty much just like, and I mean physically, as physically as these fallen angels with that particular talent. And I know for sure shapeshifting is real, and it can be done, because I met somebody, well, I met a couple before I met the angel, but the angel my Anna could do it, okay? And just to give you an example, they were trying to kidnap her once the royal authorities there found out in Thailand about all of her powers, and they were both trying to capture her and kill her. And so at one point, in order to evade, she transformed herself into this very elderly Japanese fellow who was her neighbor there at her house that she was renting there in Thailand. But interestingly enough, my good friend, the Japanese police captain there working in the Thai force, saw right through it and walked up to this old man and gave him a big, wet, juicy kiss and said, "I love you." And so you can see, this guy's no dummy. Talking about a Japanese police captain, a police captain in the Thai force. So he wasn't a Japanese in Japan captain, he was a captain of a Thai police force, and highly decorated, probably in no small part to the fact that 6 years prior, or was it 7, he was contacted by my Anna, the angel, who walked into his office one day and said, "Hi, I can help you find the bad guys." And he laughed and scoffed, and they were going to laugh her out of the room. But she proved it, and wow. She said that together with him, they rescued over 6,000 women and children that were part of the human trafficking thing that was going there in Thailand. So one thing I wanted to say to my good friend, and by the way, and I consider my friend, of course, I'm just doing this to be friendly because I don't, we haven't really talked about it. I was able to talk with the man, the myth, the man who did it, Maxwell Chikumbutso, the African man, the Zimbabwean man. I'm not sure if I'm saying Zimbabwe, but it's from Zimbabwe. And this is a man who has succeeded where many others that we have seen failed, to get a 0-point energy device to the public and actually get it on sale. He's done it. And I think the only reason he could do it is because the Africans are more independent there of Satan's worldwide controlled network. And so the African president wisely and wonderfully, and I thank that man, that president, thank you, sir, if you happen to be listening, thank you for doing that, because by supporting this man and what God gave him, Maxwell Chikumbutso, this great man, he did it. See, the thing is, you can yak till the cows come home, but how many people have actually done it? This guy did it, man. Okay, now, the thing is, I couldn't say how long he'll last, especially when, I was able to talk with him briefly, not an extended conversation, but just a email exchange. He answered me. He was really cool, and I told him, I said about the fact that our friends were attacked, and that one incident that I told you about, the Scarlet Witch. My friend looks out the window, he sees a naked woman running as fast as the SUV there in Thailand. It's a government SUV with 2 cops, Kunpi, my Anna's lawyer and former priest, and a royal servant of the high-ranking royal servant, and the driver in this black SUV looks out the window, sees a naked woman running as fast as the car, and they have 100 grand in cash, 100 grand US in cash in the car, in a case, on its way to me. And suddenly the car blows up, and everything is lost. Everybody else in the car was hurt, except for Kunpi, as I said, Anna's lawyer and former priest, because another angel that found out, I guess it's through the spiritual network or wherever they know what the story is. They know it's up, and he walked barefoot from wherever he was, whatever nation he was, and he showed up at the monastery. And during the course of events, when he knew all them and everything, he had necklaces with a wooden cross that he carved himself, and he gave one to Kunpi. And I knew everything that happened because God gave it to me to know everything that was going to everything that happened. And and he was the only one who was hardly hurt. So I wanted to tell Mr. Maxwell Chicabuzzo that that's what happened. That I recommend, if you can, get a wooden cross and just wear it, like a little small one. It doesn't have to be a big, rosary or anything. You can just get a little small one with a string, necklace thing on it, and also keep the Word of God in the car, because I want to tell them about another attack. By the way, in case anybody's listening to this, you don't know who Maxwell Chicabuzzo is. He got free energy. He got 0-point energy. So he's got cars and free energy devices apparently already for sale, and they're like in the beginning stages of it. But they've already sold some to various manufacturers. He's world famous. You'll never hear about it on American TV. You say, "Well, it's all fraud." Okay, just for you people who don't know. No, I checked it out. It's totally real. Others have checked it out. It's totally real. But people just can't believe it, and they're so brainwashed and loyal to their Lord Satan that they don't want to dare believe that it can be true, and or dare to risk angering their loving reptilian Lord Satan. So they will do everything that they can to help Satan keep themselves and the rest of humanity enslaved. Whereas you didn't know that you didn't have to pay for electricity or for gas all this time, with also untold misery and disease caused by the pollution from internal combustion engines. And so just so you know, that's who the great man, Zimbabwean African man, Maxwell Chicabuzzo. And but I want to tell him also, if by chance he's listening, that the mind control thing is real too. And there's another example of that where they attacked our friends there in Thailand. So the wife of my friend, future wife, she would become his wife later, but she was his girlfriend at that time. We were afraid for her being attacked. We were afraid for them. And so the police captain, that was our friend, who was the one that my Anna, the angel, was working with. And what happened was, so they had he had assigned 2 policemen to watch her, and they were mind controlled to start up their car and run her over, and they did, severely injuring her to the point where her arm was almost going to have to, they were going to amputate her arm. Okay, guys, they were going to amputate her arm, but my angel Anna healed her, and at no small cost. It's a pretty major thing. There was a huge flash of light. Everybody passed out, and it was a huge deal. But and she was like really strung out from it, because like it takes up a lot of energy, and there was, all this stuff happened. But anyway, so she healed her, and she didn't remember what happened, and neither did the 2 policemen that were in the car that were mind controlled to run her over. They completely forgot what happened, because that's what they do. That's whoever they send, these demons, they have memory control, and so they can do this. And I wanted to make him aware of that, because I didn't want the same thing to happen to him. I didn't want, because, and I said, look, man, I'm not saying that all you people over there should convert over to my religion, but I knew he was godly, and so I said, look, man, I would say to him, look, man. And I told him in the email too. I didn't explain the whole story because I didn't want to blast him with too big of an email. But I told him, I said, look, man, they can use mind control. Okay, it's real. They have it, and they can use your friends and people that were loyal to you for a long time, you never suspected, to totally mind control them. They won't even remember what happened. But but traffic accidents and using cars is a huge way that Satan attacks. Okay, so just to keep that in mind, and to be very careful when you're driving, because I want him to succeed. I want him to make it. I want him to make Zimbabwe the new Wakanda. You see the Black Panther? It was a Marvel movie, and there's really cool conviction. I really liked it. I like that movie. I know Marvel. I know it's all satanic beast media, but so Wakanda was this ultra modern, in fact the most modern according to the story, technological nation on Earth. Yeah, and it was an African nation, and it was really cool done. And the guy who they had play the bad guy, he was truly scary. That guy, I don't know his name, the actor, but he did a great job. And this guy was a scary villain. And unfortunately, the guy who plays the hero, black guy who plays the Black Panther, unfortunately, in the meantime he died of cancer. But he did a great job too. But in any case, so it was ultra. So in the Marvel movie, in several points, in other, Wakanda was that nation, like a secret nation hidden by this hologram thing that they used. So they hid themselves from the world, and then only, you know, due to the stuff that the other Marvel heroes were doing, they came out, you know, and started making announcements, and because it's cool. I love their metal, which is the strongest metal on earth, called vibranium. Perfect for Africans, because you hear here like Africans are really into vibe, you know, and I think it's probably one reason why Satan really attacks them, especially in Western cultures, and uses the same kind of isolation tactics and so forth to try to drive them crazy, because black people, people with African blood or black, whatever you want to call it, they have that DNA. They also have a better intuitive sense, and so they can sense these evil beasts, and you know, because they can fool all the people that don't have that deeper senses, but they go by their logic, like kind of like more like me. I'm not as good as a lot of people, you know, with detecting things, and I can't really detect it, but I go by my logic. But they can fool people like us more easily because we don't have that better, deeper inner tuning that people with African DNA have. So that may be one reason why they get a lot more problems making it in Western culture, because in those cultures the beasts run rampant, whereas they can't as much. See, I think that may be one reason why Maxwell Chikumbutso succeeded, because in their culture, if they, you know, keep it African. And by the way, I'm just telling you, brothers, keep it African over there. Don't let the white guys like me in, okay? But you know, I just don't want because I think a lot of I mean, I'm not saying this is. I think there's plenty of African beasts, you know, shape-shifting beasts, by the way, and there's a lot of witches, and I want to warn them about there too, man, the witches, and because we hear a lot about that. I heard that from this one African guy I told you about. Okay, anyway, I'll put the name of his channel. I forget it offhand. This one dude is like a French-speaking African guy, and he posts a lot of this stuff. It's great stuff. Okay, so the Africans, there's a lot more spirituality, like ancient spiritual practices and things that we learn, right, from the great African shaman Credo Mutwa that we saw from that 6-hour interview that he does with David Icke, which was mind-blowing. And David Icke was saying, yeah, this is the great man, Shaman Credo Mutwa, okay, and he's passed on now, so you can't find him live, but you can. But like I said, a lot of times the only thing that survives of people is the video. And so if you can get that whole, it's at my channel. If you go to the beginnings of my channel, I have the whole 6-hour video posted there. No, I think what I did is maybe I posted the first 3 hours, but you actually should listen to the whole thing. It's really great, because one thing that I think they get to later on is a great story. I'll just tell you real quick the story of African Credo Mutwa. He was telling David Icke that so in some earlier days he was with one of his friends there in Africa. And his friend says, "Hey man, come on over here." You know, he says, "Come on, do this. You got to do this thing with me." He says, "Well, what do you mean?" He says, "Here, try this, man." And he gives him this little piece of bark to eat. So they both eat it, you know. And then all of a sudden, he just gets so sick. They both get so sick, you can't believe it. And he's like, his skin's gonna peel off, and they're just, oh, you're gonna die. And he's sweating and you're gonna die. He's in so much pain, and the headache, and the vomiting, and everything. And he looks over at his friend, and he says, "What the hell did you do this to us?" And he says, "Just hang in there, just hang in there." And so they start to recover, but then it puts them in the spirit realm. Yeah. And it's this thing where you can traverse the spirit realm, and there's all this insane stuff that they see, demons and other dimensions and all that stuff. I forget what it was, but it was so, all the stuff he mentioned was like you're just totally in this other world, that wasn't otherwise possible. And he saw all this stuff, maybe time travel. I forget what all he said, but like this really crazy stuff. But that was a really cool story, because you're wondering why his friend made him eat this thing that they both got so sick you're practically gonna die. It was so the suffering was so bad. I think the suffering lasted for days, and then they finally recovered. And then after that, then you enter into that trip realm. It's not like ayahuasca or something like that, where you pretty much start tripping out like in an hour or less, sometimes instantly, or like with smoke, with weed, you're pretty much high right away. It was like days of being like super sick, and I'm just about to die. But then, oh, the amazing spiritual thing that happens. As a matter of fact, I think the reason why, besides that Africa is in a more remote situation, and the world globalist satanic world order doesn't have as much control over there. But I think the reason why Mr. Maxwell Chikumbutso succeeded where others have failed is because he was godly. And I like it in the interviews, he does not shy away from talking about how he survived the assassination attempt against him here in America, where he was in the hospital for a month, and his business partner did not survive. He died. So his business partner died while they came here to America. Yeah, so America is really doing good. But he said that he survived by the grace of God. And in the interviews that I watched him in, he's very godly, talking about how he believes in God, and is mentions God quite a bit, and is clearly someone with that in mind. So I think that's probably one reason why he succeeded and others didn't. And also, one thing I was going to say to him is that one of the things another reason why others may have failed is because it's just about a product. It's just about making money for them. But if you make it about something spiritual, if you make it something about setting the world free, the name of my website is freeourworld.org. So I'm focused on freeing our world. See, so I said and free energy is part of that very good little piece out of the Thrive 2 movie that Foster Gamble and his wife were making there. Great show. But I like how they had that little carousel, and it showed like the 5 pillars of what I would say is the reptilian satanic control over the world. They just call it the globalists, whatever, evil cabal. But I say it's Satan's and his reptilian higher-ups, along with other beasts and the humans that serve them, that have that 5 pillars of control. So one is medicine, one is food, one is energy. One is control of the media and all information. Whether it's TV, internet, books, you can see that globalist control in action. They got it going on. And it's cool how he showed that little carousel moving around. But energy is really a key to keep humans enslaved and with no energy or time to think about and realize their enslavement to these beasts. So when you're so busy trying to put gas in your car and keep the lights on in your home so your wife and kids can have power and heat at night, you're a lot of your energy that you might have been able to see. I think maybe I don't know if it's always been like this, man, because if you take the days of slavery, it's obviously going to be a lot worse. Like full-blown slavery, like thousands of years ago, was like, that's all people were. They were either nobles or slaves, whatever. Royalty, slaves, pretty much is all you had. But so that's going to be a lot worse. But even then, you might have had a little more free time than what we've got now. You got people working 2 or 3 jobs just so they can be sure and pay the rent. And like I said in that movie I made, The Fire and the Anger of the Poor, people are just so angry and so stressed out because they have to basically go and what this guy wrote in the bathroom one time, life is like a shit sandwich. The more bread you have, the less shit you have to eat. But it's also like that one thing also in that one movie, Jupiter Ascending, is shit runs downhill. And so what it is and I found this too. I mean, basically you take crap from your superiors, and if you don't, you can kiss your job goodbye, or you're not getting promoted. But they'll know right away if it's pissing you off, so you have to stuff it in, even if you hate the people that you're serving. And that's what I think is the huge problem with our society. It's the problem with Starbucks, see. They're so hateful. I finally, one thing that pneumonia gave me, by the way, when I got sick there starting in May of 2023, and pretty much through the whole summer, and I had to have surgery and everything to drain. My lungs got filled with liquid, and it was a huge thing. But previously, since I live in my RV, my way was to go to go to the bathroom by going into a coffee shop, ordering a coffee and sitting down. Plus, get you going early in the morning to get a good seat and then to use the restroom. But I managed to free myself from that because I got so used to using the RV restroom situation, which is a little bit less convenient, but you get used to it. And I totally got used to it, and now I don't go into coffee shops in the morning. I did that for years and years. Let's see, I don't know how many years it was. I think almost 10 years in this last time that I've been homeless, but the whole time, the whole 35 years that I've been living on the road, that's what I did. That was my way, and so that was one silver lining that terrible pneumonia did for me. Yeah, I really hope that Maxwell succeeds, because if he does, think about what it means for the world. Okay, most people here in America will never believe for a long time, and you'll never hear it. You'll never hear it from Elon Musk. Are you going to hear it from Elon Musk? That we have 0-point energy already, and the vehicles and power generators are on sale in Zimbabwe? Are we going to hear about that? No, we're not going to hear about that. Hell no, you're not going to hear about that. And like I said, most people are such obedient dogs to their satanic master that they will help in the effort to cover that up, even though it means their own enslavement and the enslavement of their children in the process, disgusting though it may be. So I was looking at this here in Psalm 11:7. For the righteous Lord loveth righteousness. His countenance doth behold the upright. And I was thinking about that. What does it mean? His countenance beholds the upright. What's that saying? Looks like, so as I thought about it, the countenance. Now, countenance is the way you look, is your appearance. So why would it say his appearance beholds the upright? And what came to me was that it looks like it's what this is saying is that his person will behold the upright. So countenance meaning his personal human appearance in the earth, his and hers. Okay, so as you know, his is Jesus, hers is Jerusalem. Okay, the first and the last, the Alpha and the Omega. When Jesus says, "I am the first and the last, the Alpha and the Omega, the root and the offspring of David and the bright and morning star," he means the father and mother from the commandment, which are himself and Jerusalem, the queen. So it says his countenance does behold the upright. So and then if it says that the righteous Lord loveth righteousness, his countenance doth behold the upright. if it's saying that his person beholds the upright, perhaps what it's saying is that there's something about his person not being in front of the wicked, which seems to match a lot of other things about God that we see, that for those who will behave wickedly, he won't show himself. A wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, but they won't find one, because they are a wicked and adulterous nation. But the righteous will see the person of the Lord. Psalm 13. How long wilt thou forget me, O Lord? Forever? How long wilt thou hide thy face from me? How long shall I take counsel in my soul, having sorrow in my heart daily? How long shall mine enemy be exalted over me? Consider and hear me, O Lord my God. Lighten mine eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death. Lest mine enemies say I have prevailed against him, and those that trouble me rejoice when I am moved. But I have trusted in thy mercy. My heart shall rejoice in thy salvation. Trusted in thy mercy. Remember, one thing I found is that mercy and truth might be representing what Jesus, mercy, the salvation of the cross, matches mercy, and then truth would be matching the Spirit, or Jerusalem, father and mother, from the commandment. But I have trusted in thy mercy. My heart shall rejoice in thy salvation, the salvation of Jesus Christ on the cross. I will sing unto the Lord, because he hath dealt bountifully with me. If you're watching this, it's not too late. Say this prayer now. Father in heaven, please save my soul by the work of your Son Jesus on the cross, and show me your pure words in the authorized King James Bible.